first of all, thank Bruce and Joe, the whole PPN NNA community here. You guys have helped me and my new partner, Mark Fuller, who's somewhere in the room. You guys have helped us tremendously. And I want to share with you, really for the next 10-15 minutes, some ideas from my book that a lot of you came to my launch party back in January for my book, 365 Marketing Dumb Rules, which you'll learn a little bit more about a little bit later with a special surprise. But I want to share with you kind of a tip in terms of triggering more referrals. Ultimately, we're all here to gain more referrals from our centers of influence and from folks here in the room. And we're basically going to be talking about how to construct a one-liner. One-liner that we can use to introduce ourselves, but more importantly, a one-liner, literally a one-sentence one-liner that other people can introduce us with. We want to make sure that everybody has the handout before we actually even get started with the slide. Do you have the handout? You guys have the handout? It should basically look like this, and then of course you have my book and my ad in the back. This is the back, and you can literally fold it in half and create yourself a pretty handy worksheet booklet. I want you to go ahead and just kind of do that as we go to the next slide. A lot of people call me a marketing guru, and in my heritage and in my family, guru means free, so I'm definitely not a marketing guru. So I'm going to kind of dispel that rumor. But basically, as a practice marketing advisor, what I do is work with lawyers, accountants, and financial advisors and help them market their practice more effectively within their codes of ethics and their compliance obligations. Going to the next slide, while I'm not a marketing guru, I want to do some marketing yoga with you guys. So I want everyone to kind of stand up and get the blood flowing for a moment. If you're not able to participate, I'm going to excuse yourself. I want you to kind of stand up. And I want you to hold your breath for the next 30 seconds. I'm going to play along with you, so we're going to be silent for the next 30 seconds. And of course, sit down if you have to let go of your breath. For 30 seconds, starting now. That's a long 30 seconds. Everyone have a seat. Have a seat. Let's kill that 30-second elevator pitch. That's a very long time to sit there and actually listen to someone or listen to silence. And I want to actually kill the elevator pitch and instead go into really the one-liner concept. If you go to the next slide, I want to think about when do we refer somebody and why don't we refer more than what we should be doing. We all know each other fairly well. We get together at least once a month, if not frequently throughout other meetings and other sit-downs. But we want to recommend each other even more. And I want you guys to think about recommending each other from a different perspective, using the one-liner concept. If you go to the next slide, you'll see basically what I mean by a one-liner is a headline. A simple differentiator that someone else can repeat about you that makes them ask for more. It's a headline of an article. It's a foot in the door. It's not putting everything and everything that you do for everyone in one type of sentence. You can't possibly summarize everything that you do all immediately. But what we can do is come in with the one-liner, come in with the headline, come in with something that can introduce us and provoke questions so that that person who's recommending us can then lay low and kind of just connect us to. Does that make sense? Does that make sense as a one-liner? I want to actually move to the next slide and we'll actually kind of participate. I want you to actually take a look at your worksheet and actually start filling it out. Hopefully everybody has a pen. If not, I'm sure a logo over at Promo Link can get you a free pen. And I actually want you to write it out because in about 10 minutes we're going to be breaking to do some more networking. And you're going to be able to actually use these words right in the room. So the more you participate right now, the more effective your networking is going to be in the next 10-15 minutes. So the first question is a little bit grayed out purposely. So you won't be able to see it a lot. And it's that first question of who should I mention you to? So you can skip really to the second question, because usually the second question is is what people want to know. When should I mention your name? When should I mention your name? And of course I'm asking you, when should I mention your name? And I want you to write that answer down. question as you're writing is, what words should I say to introduce you? How should I introduce you? What words should I say to introduce you? That fourth question as you're filling out these two answers is, why should I mention you? Meaning, why should I bring your name up as opposed to one of your peers or competitors? So concentrate on the first two, when and what. Take a moment for you to fill that out. And again, these are going to be words that you're going to be using in the next 10 minutes. Hopefully, as you start networking, people are going to ask you, well, when should I introduce you? Who should I introduce you to? What should I say to them? This is what you're literally writing out. As you're writing, I'll keep talking. It's amazing. These are the basic thumb rules, the basics of marketing that my book covers. It's the little things that we know we probably should be doing, writing down our goals, writing down these kinds of words, but we hardly ever find the time to do so. Of course, when I work one-on-one with my clients, we're making the time to do so. But here you have an opportunity to literally make the time to write out when someone should bring up your name, and actually, with understanding a little bit more deeply in constructing the one-liner. In terms of understanding target marketing, it's like marketing 101 is finding a niche market and targeting a specific market. However, very few of us take that leap. Most of us can service a wide variety of businesses, wide variety of professionals, a wide variety of individuals. Quite frankly, if they came to us, there's no reason for us to say no to business, especially in this market. There's no reason to say no to business. However, with our limited time and our limited money budget in terms of marketing, what we want to really do is magnify our market and make sure that we're focused on a niche market, what I call a community, a subculture that has 6 things in common. The first thing I want you to do as you flip over your worksheet, so you're staring at this, the one with the hexagon in the upper right-hand corner, the first thing I want you to think about yourself, and the reason I'm not asking for participation on this is because I want to keep it short so that we can get back to networking. So I want you to first think about, when you're thinking about your target market, your ideal customer, who you really should be focusing your marketing dollars and marketing time on, is, do they have these 6 aspects or facets to them? Very often they don't. Very often our niche market or our target market really don't have all these 6 aspects to it. Because of that, it's more difficult to recommend you. Now, should you only focus on this market and not service a wide variety? Well, that's your decision. I would suggest to pick a target market, put your eggs in that basket that you know is growing because of these 6 aspects that we're going to go over in a moment, and you'll be guaranteed of not only having more referrals, but more importantly, a growing market, and even more importantly, you're going to have tons of other professionals, folks in this room, recommending way more business than you can handle because they know when to recommend you, to whom to recommend you to, what words to say, and more importantly, why they should be recommending you and only you. So what are those 6 facets or criteria? Well, the number one thing is labels. Very often when I work with financial advisors or even accountants, they'll mention that their ideal client are high net worth individuals. Well, that's great, but of all the high net worth individuals I know, and I don't know a whole lot, you probably know a whole lot more than I do, very few of them actually introduce themselves as going, hi, I'm a high net worth individual. Now, Silver does that. Matt Silver. Outside of that, no one's really introducing themselves with that label, but rather they're introducing themselves with other labels. There are other criteria or characteristics that they label themselves. So as you see here on the sheet, it's what do they call themselves? What special differentiators do they use amongst themselves? I won't get into the details, but I invite you to actually sit down with either me or my partner Mark, and we'll actually go one-on-one and actually start interviewing you over a cup of coffee, no obligation, and actually start grilling you, if you will, of kind of what labels are in your target market. Most likely there are naturally occurring patterns, what I call NOPs, naturally occurring patterns in your marketplace already. They are calling themselves things that you're not calling them. Let's incorporate their labels into your market. The second criteria is, do they have specialized lingo? The reason I put specialized lingo on top is because for me, even more important than labels are specialized lingo. If a subculture or a community or group of people have specialized lingo, slang, jargon, acronyms, abbreviations,